What's up, guys? Mickle here, and yesterday the SEC got absolutely demolished by Ripple in their in-person meeting. Guys, today in this video, I'm going to show you guys why Ripple's win was actually much bigger than I initially thought. Jeremy Hogan did a fantastic video on it last night, but I really want to break it down and make it super easy for you guys to understand how big of a win this really was for Ripple when I show you guys what the SEC actually did in this hearing and how badly they messed up. You guys are not going to believe it, and you guys are fully going to understand how good of a position Ripple is currently in this case. Guys, Ripple also filed a brand new filing to the case last night, absolutely tearing the SEC apart. I'm going to show you guys the filing Ripple submitted to the court, and it actually reveals some shocking new things we did not know before. I love going over filings like this that really break down and give us new information. They are so fun to analyze because they show us how much power Ripple has in this case. And what I'm going to show you guys at the end of the video is going to show you guys that even the lawyers at the SEC do not even have confidence in their own case. This is pretty shocking and going to show you guys that we are in a very good place. Like always, if you are new to this channel or come here all the time, please take a second to hit the like and subscribe button down below. It goes such a long way in helping this channel grow, and it really does mean so much to me. If you guys are ever looking for a good place to buy some XRP, make sure to check out the link in the description below. With that said though, let's jump right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. So guys, I want to start out and really show you guys why Ripple's win yesterday was so much bigger than I initially thought. I already knew coming out of that hearing that there was no way that the SEC was going to get away with not handing over the Hinman documents. They completely lost on the attorney-client privilege, and it was obvious that Judge Netburn was completely on Ripple's side. But the SEC lawyer actually made a huge mistake that made things even worse for the SEC. Not only did the SEC lose on the attorney-client privilege, not only is it now certified to the court that the Bill Hinman Ethereum free pass speech was his personal opinion, but the SEC might have actually given something up that will also make them lose on fair notice. First, I want to show you this clip by Jeremy Hogan, but then I'm going to show you guys something that's going to make this so easy to understand, and you guys are going to realize why the SEC messed up big time here.
The judge asked, is the SEC taking the position now that the speech reflected the Division of Corporate Finance's position? And the SEC attorney said yes. Now, she tried to equivocate a little bit after that, but the first and the direct answer was yes. And even worse, towards the end of the hearing, when the argument had turned to policy versus legal guidance, the SEC attorney actually said this. Listen to this, quote, "The purpose of the speech was to provide market guidance on how the SEC would treat digital assets." Now, I couldn't believe she said that, and still right now, I doubt that my notes are correct, because this motion was already lost in the first 5 minutes. But those two remarks by the SEC attorney, especially the second one, put the Hinman speech back into play as market guidance and puts it back into relevance. It's like the SEC is having the opposite of having their cake and eating it too. So after today, with the quote that the speech was market guidance, Hinman's speech is back in play potentially as both official guidance as to whether XRP is a security and back in play as to the fair notice defense. And that's how gambits fall apart on you. You have to be very careful what you say when you're online and when you're in court, because that stuff lives forever. And in trying to win a loser, the SEC might just have lost a winner.
So if you guys listened to that and said, I have no idea what that was supposed to mean, don't worry, we're going to break it down and make it easy. As you guys have probably seen before, this diagram is essentially what has been playing out over the last year or so. The SEC had two roads they could go down. They could either say that the speech was Bill Hinman's personal opinion and then Ripple would get the Ethereum docs, or they would say it was SEC guided and they would have to compare Ethereum versus XRP. The SEC went down the whole it was Bill Hinman's personal opinion route and realized because of this they would have to hand over the ETH docs, and they realized that if that happened, not only would they lose the case, but they would also expose their own agency with the corruption that was happening. Because of that, the SEC tried to audible out of that and switch halfway through the case and then say the speech was actually SEC guided. That way, even though they would still lose on the Ethereum versus XRP argument, at least they wouldn't lose and expose the agency. That's essentially the predicament the SEC was in, and yesterday they were trying desperately to allow this switchover to happen. Unfortunately for the SEC, Judge Netburn would not let that occur, and she locked the SEC into the argument that the speech was Bill Hinman's personal opinion, and those Ethereum free pass documents are gonna get handed over to Ripple. So what was the big mistake the SEC made? Well, the SEC lawyer actually said that the speech was also guidance for the market, and this was a huge L for the SEC, because now not only is Ripple going to get the Ethereum free pass docs because the SEC is already locked into it being Bill Hinman's personal opinion, but now also because the SEC admitted it was guidance to the market, the speech is also SEC guided. But Ripple still gets the Ethereum free pass documents. So now not only does Ripple get these Ethereum free pass documents, but the SEC is going to get stuck comparing ETH versus XRP. The SEC was only supposed to have to go down one of these roads, but they actually argued it being Bill Hinman's opinion so poorly, and they were so desperate to try to cross this over, they actually got the worst of both scenarios. So now not only are they going to have to hand over these Ethereum free pass docs, expose their agency, and show that they knew XRP wasn't a security this entire time, but now they also admitted to the court that when Bill Hinman took the stand and told everyone that he did not consider Ethereum a security, the SEC admitted that that was supposed to be market guidance. Therefore, when Ripple saw that, the SEC is literally telling the court that Ripple had the right to believe that meant XRP wasn't a security either. The SEC did not have to say this. The SEC did not have to go down this second route. They made a mistake and accidentally told the court that it was SEC guided. But Ripple was already getting the Ethereum documents. And that's how the SEC messed up so badly that now they have to fight on two different fronts. They only should have had to fight on one, and this is going to be a huge problem for the SEC in this case and put them in a significantly worse position than they were prior to this hearing. So guys, I hope that cleared things up a little. If you're still not following, just think of it this way. It was 4th and 25. All the SEC had to do was punt. The game is already over. They've lost almost everything, and instead they threw an interception and it went back for a touchdown. That's the easiest way I can give it to you. Anyway, though, we got another very interesting filing in the Ripple SEC case. Essentially what this filing was all about was Ripple had the right to ask the SEC a bunch of questions that the SEC was supposed to admit to. Essentially, because the SEC is the party that sued Ripple, Ripple gets to ask him a bunch of questions like, hey, if you're going to make the claim that the Ripple executives should have known that XRP was a security all along, well, when did you figure out XRP was a security? Because if you didn't figure out XRP was a security until 2020, then why would you have expected Ripple's executives to make the random assumption that one day down the road you were going to decide XRP was a security? So Ripple actually asked them over 700 questions, and the SEC is trying to dodge so many of them. But that's not the most important part. The most important part is how bad their excuses are and what we're finding out actually from the questions Ripple posed to the SEC. So one of the most shocking revelations was actually that Ripple was actually meeting with the SEC back in 2013. And the SEC absolutely refuses to admit this, but in this most recent filing, we found out that a leaked email obtained by Ripple proves that one of the SEC commissioners was at the meeting. And the SEC is refusing to admit this, but take a look at this. From an @sec.gov email address proving that he worked at the SEC when this email was sent, this employee was caught asking Ripple for a copy of the presentation that took place on October 30th, 2013, and in writing he said, "Would you mind sending me a copy of the PowerPoint slides?" So it's very obvious that the SEC knows and has evidence that their employees were at this meeting. The SEC is just refusing to look for it. And why is that the case? Well, the SEC knows if they're forced to admit that they knew about XRP in 2013 and didn't say a word to Ripple that it could have been a security, well, that's absolutely insane. Why would Ripple ever think that XRP was a security if they told the SEC about it in 2013 and the SEC never bothered to tell them? That's absolutely absurd behavior and literally proves that the SEC never thought that XRP was a security. This would be so damning for the SEC in this case against Ripple. So what does the SEC choose to do? They just choose to pretend like they can't find it. And in the SEC's response, they literally say, oh, it doesn't seem that anyone at the SEC right now can recall someone else going to that meeting. Well, Ripple's response is, why aren't you looking in other places? Why are you just asking people if they remember? You're clearly just trying to play games to not hand over this document. And Ripple obviously said it a lot more technical than this, but this is what they were breaking down. And this whole thing just gets more and more absurd. At one point, Ripple actually calls out the SEC in this document for changing dates. At another point, they call out the SEC for pretending they don't know the definition of Bitcoin, and at another point they call the SEC out for pretending they don't know the term market participants, even though on the SEC website they use the term market participant over 10,000 times. Guys, this document out of Ripple absolutely scolds the SEC for turning this entire thing into a game rather than simply producing the evidence they are required to produce. It shows that the SEC is simply trying to win this lawsuit through gamesmanship rather than actually handing over the stuff they are required to hand over. And one of my favorite quotes from this is the SEC, essentially the way they're trying to get around handing over any of this is they're trying to say, oh, if Ripple used these different terms, we might have been able to produce it, but we can't really figure out what they're talking about. Ripple's response to this was requests for admission are not games of Battleship, in which the requesting party must guess the precise coordinates or language that the responding party deems answerable. Essentially saying to the SEC, you know exactly what you're talking about. You know what you are obligated to produce. You're turning this into a game. It's not. You sued us. This is absolutely absurd. Guys, thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this update. Make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help me out so much. And for now, Mickle out.